2, 1.
Let's start another video. This is the mechanical water temp cinder. I was having issues because the LS engine has a way smaller fitting that goes into the cylinder head. And if I would have known better, I would have drilled and tapped the cylinder head. So usually your electronic signal that goes to your PCM is right there, but I moved mine back to this cylinder head. They have the same ports. So now I have it over here because I thought that my mechanical was gonna stick out real far because I thought it was gonna go in that port. Well, the issue I was finding is an adapter would be really crazy to make it work. So basically, this is my water pump. I had already drilled and tapped this a long time ago for a barb. It vents over here instead of going up into your radiator for a cleaner look. So since that was already the right thread, I didn't realize that the adapter that came with that cinder had, I think this is probably quarter or something, MBT threads. I already had that tapped, so I just pulled my barb out, put this adapter in, and then drilled and tapped right here for a 90 elbow barb that is going to run to my overflow. So now my mechanical sensor is going to be right here. It doesn't really stick up, look too hideous, because this is pretty deep. It really needs probably about 1.25 inches from the bottom of that head. So I couldn't do it here because it's not really that deep here. So if you do, the farther you get over here, you start getting into other casting pieces. So you can't really have anything too deep here. So I had to go here on the truck pump. So pretty excited because, for one, I don't really mind that location. I like it kind of on top. On the side over here would get a little tight, and the adapter, I didn't like that idea. So like I said, if I was going to do it again, I'd probably drill and tap the cylinder heads, but right now I would never want to take those cylinder heads back off, or definitely not drill and tap them right now. This water pump is just mocked up on there right now, so it's going to come off. I have to clean all of it out anyway, all the metal shavings and anything, because I had tapped these ports for 90s also. So once I get the rest of my hoses mounted up today, then I can pull that off, clean it, then throw my gaskets on and seal it up for good. That was a win. I haven't had a whole lot of wins on this truck lately, so pretty happy that worked out. I also put in the copper line because I have a mechanical oil pressure sensor and mechanical water temp sensor. So it's going to run up in there. I wanted it to run through that grommet, so it looks like it's from the truck. And then I had to drill that out kind of big just because of the fitting that was in the water sensor. It's about 3/4 inch. All right, well, this is how, let's see if I can stand in front of the light. This is how it looks in here. I kind of marked it, so if you're back there or pull it out, it's a little easier to think about. Glove box, as you can see, has all my stuff in it. Wiring is done in here. There's one ground connection I need to make but that's it. So, like I said, heater setup. Heater controls will be under here, so if you ever want to change it, you have to pull the seat off. But it's going to have an on-off switch up in the glove compartment. Your heater valve, your throttle pedal assembly has a lever that sticks under the cab, and then there's linkage that runs up to the accelerator pedal, but I can't do any of that until the floor's in. Underneath here, your wiring comes over to your transmission plug and your O2 sensor on this side. All your under the dash wiring runs up into this loom that runs up there, and I'll show you a little more of that in a minute. PCM runs over. Everything to your fuse block setup runs over here. I have 2 of those Bussmann fuse blocks, and they have covers, but until it's running, I'm going to leave all that off. That way I can troubleshoot or play with it a little bit. Underneath here is your OBD2 sensor. Everything up here is for my tail lights and turn signals. It's a little confusing if you didn't know. If you run an old school column, it's a little hard to wire all that up. That way your brake lights and turn signals work at the same time. Computer for your throttle body is right there. Everything is tight in there. It all runs down into that little drop box that I made, and then everything is tight and loomed in here. Fuel line runs up, your transmission vent line runs in there, and then everything else runs up to your engine, and then everything on the frame is like your crank sensor, your starter wiring, your battery cable going to your block for ground, your battery cable going to your starter for power runs through there. That is my positive lug, and there's a negative lug up under the seat. I'll show you that here in a little bit, but let's climb under the dash and I'll show you what I'm working with. So all that wiring, like I said, runs up, it's tied up. Everything else is lubed in there. It runs either to the gauges that are in the dash or across. I am running some lights up into here to light up my gauges. None of these are going to work, but it also has a turn signal indicator, so I can know if my flashers are on or my turn signals are on. My headlight switch is run through this switch they already had in here, so it's just a pull out on off switch. My key switch is just powering relays down in here, and then all these 3 switches, I made a little mount that mounts to obviously the steering column drop, and then whenever you're driving or in it, you don't really see it. You kind of see this. This is your horn button, starter button, and then that side will be your turn signals. But I didn't want to see anything. That was a big goal. All that's wired. Everything's tucked in as clean as I can get it, and happy with how that turned out. Dimmer switch is over here, so that's all wired. Once I get the floor bolts in, I'll have another cable holder hold that tight, that way it's not hitting. But everything had to kind of be tucked in tight because there's a lot of linkage in there. I don't want anything rubbing. And then, like I said, down there, heater hoses run over there. There's a little bracket that comes off your transmission that I made for that, so it's gonna run underneath instead of, I was gonna have it run up by the starter, but now it's already horrible to work on the starter right now, so I do not want any more complicated stuff in there. And I also left an extra wire going from the fuse panel up to the gauges if you ever need to tie in, and I also left a couple fuses open if you ever need to get some more fuse power and don't want to run a little inline fuse. Obviously you can tell the back of the seat's in. Bottom seat I'm not going to put in until I bleed the brakes and get closer to getting this thing started up, which it is very close, but not there yet. And then if you run over here, I ran my fuel line that runs from the fuel rail to fuel rail, and then I also ran my fuel line that runs down, obviously back to the Holley filter regulator. So that's how your wiring looks in here. I wanted it all really simple looking. Like I said, it all kind of tucks in to your fuel injectors up on your fuel rails. Wiring, the coil pack wiring all runs down to the bottom. This wiring is going to be your headlights and horn and fan, and it's probably going to run in the frame rail, but I'm not ready for that yet. I didn't want to tuck it in until I got this radiator on there and see exactly how I want to run all that wiring. Everything over here, again, pretty simple. The ground obviously grounds to your block. You have your starter exciter wire, you have your starter battery wire, you have your crank plug, which is the worst to get into. None of that is very fun to work on, I'll tell you that. I don't know if this is gonna be the last time I ever use this header wrap. I like it, I like the old school look of it, but man, I really hate that fiberglass in my hands. And so I've been wearing gloves, but it doesn't do it. It still sucks. So if you look down in here, you can see the heater hose is way in the bottom. You see the vent tube line, which has the little yellow writing on it, and then the fuel line runs up here into the fuel rails. So all that's pretty simple. I kind of want to paint the blue on that. Those are your knock sensor plug. So I'll probably paint those blue. Or black. I don't really want to see that. And then connect those two wires. And so everything that's wired over there on that side is engine wiring. All the wiring over here besides this wiring, that's engine, and then everything else is headlights and runs up in the frame rails. So pretty simple look, but an unbelievable amount of work to get it like that. And then I still have to do tail light. I put a tail light plug in like you normally have, so I need to run that to the back, but I got some other issues with tail lights as far as I don't have the proper plugs for the tail lights that I have. And then the headlights that are in here, I still have to get those loose and see what I'm going to do to get bulbs in there, 12-volt bulbs, and hopefully all that works. So we'll see on that, and hopefully obviously dual filament so that I have regular and brights. So let's climb under the truck and I'll show you a little bit more. So this is the drop down box that I made. I didn't want all the wiring just dumping out the bottom, so it just dumps out the bottom at an angle. So it's all cloth wrapped together. This is your pressure brake switch, which is going to trigger relays to your brake lights and trigger a relay for your torque converter lockup. This is my negative ground lug. Up top is a positive and fuel line. On the bottom is the negative line, and then this other wiring, obviously, like I said, is the taillight plug that you'll connect here, and I'll have another connector in the back. You have the Willwood adjustable proportioning valve, the Willwood residual valve, all that's tucked all right in here. This is the kind of the most accessible spot on the truck at the moment, so I kind of want it here. I didn't want it farther back, because the farther back you get, the more you can see from underneath the truck. So to keep it all clean, you gotta work hard for this. Underneath it, I have a breaker. You want to have that breaker as close to your battery as possible, so that if you did have an issue, it doesn't catch your truck on fire and then lose all my money. My ground cable runs up and runs up to the battery. I know it's really hard to see up in here. And then my fuel line runs back. There's my Holley filter regulator, and then the return line runs to the tank back there, and I just painted that all brown so it doesn't stand out too much. Most everything's clamped. Like I said, I need to run my taillight wiring just back there for now. Everything else is as tidy as I can get, you know, and it's all tucked up in this little groove. That way it doesn't stick down. That way my accelerator pedal doesn't run across it, and that way this emergency brake lever linkage doesn't hit anything. See, it would hit the bottom of the cab before it hits the wiring. So that's kind of why I tucked everything up in there. Everything's clamped in. If you want your truck to be clean, Jesus, you better work hard, because it is it's so much work to tuck all this into this little compartment down here. So hopefully it all works, because I would love to not have to take all this loom off and problem solve. And I'm fairly confident, like I have been on every other mistake I've made. But now I can run my exhaust I kind of been waiting on running exhaust because I wanted a little bit of room for my arms. And now I can throw the floor in. So, yay. Exciting stuff for the 36.